Yeah, so the big ones here. Austin and I know what this image means. We talked with you a lot about tier limit. Sorry, something really stuck in my throat here.
It's probably the aspartame.
Okay. Oh my god. Sorry, photon hypernova is
Z.
legal at
Oh,
10.
yep.
And
To
then
the 10th.
yeah, and then 13th is when this list comes into effect, and then 17th is gonna be Vegas. So tier limits is the boogeyman we talk about a lot. This card's like a huge card for them. Kit Kalos, it searches like anything they want. When it goes to the graveyard, it sends the top 5 cards of the deck to the graveyard. It's a really heavy graveyard strategy. It has another effect where it can just bring itself back, or like bring back anything else from the hand or graveyard. Like it's absolutely insane, and it's like super easy to make. You just have to use like any 2 tier limit monsters. But then the other thing, first of all, it's banned. But then the other thing is it also levels up into this bigger version of itself called Root Kalos, which requires it as the material. So if it's banned, like they have to play like substitute cards like King of the Swamp and stuff. And then these 3 cards on the limited down here are the main deck monsters. They all share an effect where they can do a fusion summon, but then they all have additional effects where they send cards from like the top of the grave. So like they're really good for like starting their combos and everything. They're good to draw. They're good to like send to the graveyard. Like people might argue Merly kind of sucks, but I mean And then these 4 at the top are all the Fairy Earth monsters that we got in Magnificent Mavens. The 2 on the left here have an effect when they go to the graveyard. They send the top 5 from both players' decks to the graveyard. And then these 2 on the right have effects where you can banish them from the graveyard to shuffle 3 cards back into the decks. So a lot of people compare those to like DD Crow, Called by the Grave, and stuff like that. And the ones on the left those are just amazing effects for any graveyard strategy. Because ideally, right, if you get both of these, you could like mill 10 cards. If you like get a Kit Callus off, you get like 15 and stuff. Like it gets ridiculous.
And then you got hit as well too, right?
Yeah, the statue thing. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna play Drytrons at Vegas.
But on the bright side, you can now play, up to 3 Spiral Resorts.
Yeah.
Yada Garasu.
The True King Lithosagam is actually pretty cool. That's a pretty solid card. And like the Servant's pretty cool for pendulum decks. Destrudo doesn't really matter because that's a once per duel effect. I don't know why that card ever. It maybe went from banned to 3 or something. Maybe that's what happened. Jet Synchron, I believe, is also a once per duel effect, so that one probably doesn't matter. I mean, it's good to have them legal, I guess, at least.
They're always like, yeah, those cards are interesting. They're always like an extra body.
Yeah, and then Lion's an interesting one because it's like it was used with Halka Fibrax and like Link Cross combos, but like I believe both of those cards are banned right now, so it doesn't really make sense to keep Lion banned. So Lion can come back. Yeah, Yatagrasso used to be like a boogeyman like 20,000 years ago, but nowadays its effect's not that good. It's like it has to do damage to your opponent. It has like 200 attack, and then like it skips their draw phase, but it's like most of the time if you're getting attacked, like you're losing the game anyway. So, yeah, Spiral Resort. I think Master Plan is still banned, right, or something?
That sounds right. Yeah. One of them cards.
F.
Yeah, Master Plan's still banned. So they can't really do much. I mean, yeah, you might as well give them 3 Resort if you're not going to give them Master Plan. Yeah, Scythe should have been banned like 20,000 years ago. That's a card where when it gets summoned, it stops your opponent from summoning from the extra deck. So it's like one-sided. It's like way too good. And it's like not very interactive. Alpha's part of the Sprite strategy and just level 2 strategies in general. But that had an effect where during either player's turn, you could just bring back monsters from the graveyard. So it was absolutely insane and it had like protection from targeting. So that was really good. It was like generic for some
super
reason.
easy
So
to
any deck
make.
could play it, yeah. Yeah, a lot of decks would play like either like 2 or 3 of this and stuff. So not that it seems a little extreme to ban it, but I mean, And I'm not complaining that it's banned because I don't play Sprite, so I'm sure Sprite players are upset, fuming. But,
Yeah, but they're griefing.
yeah.
Or
No, they'll find a way to
something.
play the deck, but yeah, the huge one is like tier, and like the huge one also is that like there's like literally no hits like cash tier, which people are already like contending for, like that and tier limits. So yeah,
Wait, so tier limits hurt really bad by the ban list, right?
yeah. Kit Callus is
So-
banned. 3 of their tier limit monsters are limited. All 4 of their Earth Fairy monsters that they played are all limited. It's like playable, but it's not gonna be.
Yeah. So that means there's no good decks in Yu-Gi-Oh now.
No, it's cash tier.
Well, I mean, what tier limits was like the big bad, right?
Yeah,
So now there's no best deck.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now everyone just plays the second best
Yeah.
deck.
So no one's gonna complain.
Yeah.
There will be no.
They always
complaining.
complain.
Yeah.
What about Bestials? Like, that's a deck, right?
They're more like an engine, yeah. I mean, there are like pure bestial decks that people play. Like more realistic, people will probably play like branded bestials, or like just they mostly just splash them into like other deck, like Dragon Link. They can play that because they're all dragons.
Right.
So yeah, any dragon themed deck or like any like chaos deck could probably play them, stuff like that.
So they're kind of like Arceus. We can kind of like throw Arceus in any deck.
Yeah, but they're more like, I don't want to say like they're like they're almost like quick shooting Intellion, where it's like they can do some damage and stuff, but they're not really like an engine.
Yeah.
But like they're weird. Like they are like monsters. They're like the creatures, their bodies. It's like the close comparison is maybe like quick shooting Intellion. I don't know. It's hard to compare them to anything. They're a series of monsters that, I mean, you watched the whole video on this, but they're a series of monsters that these 4, Magnum Hunt, Sereneer, and Druid Swarm, all of them have the same effect where if they're in your hand, you can banish a light or dark monster from either graveyard to summon them. So what makes them really good is that if you have like a monster or some shit, they're quick effects. Oh, if your opponent controls a monster. So the idea is like, you know, you wait for your opponent to summon something, and then if they try to do some graveyard stuff, you activate one of these guys. So a lot of people compare this to... So a really easy comparison would be DD Crow, because this card's like an old card, so it doesn't take that much explaining. So DD Crow is a level 1 monster, and all he does is you discard from hand to graveyard, and then you banish a card from your opponent's graveyard, and it can be activated during either player's turn. It doesn't sound that great. It's level 1, 100 attack, 100 defense, but what makes this card so good is that it just, like, be able to, like, just, like, banish a card from your opponent's graveyard whenever you want is, like, really important. Like, the easiest example would be, like, someone plays a Monster Reborn, right? I want to bring back my Blue Eyes White Dragon. I use DD Crow, banish that Blue Eyes. You can't bring it back, right? And then this gets, like, extreme, right? You could think of, like, tier elements and stuff, right? It's like they use one of these guys to, fusion summon, and then it's like, okay, I DD Crow, banish this, you can't fusion summon anymore. So, DD Crow's always been, like, a decent card, like, to side deck against graveyard strategies. Now, what makes Bestials good is that they do what DD Crow does, albeit only for light and dark monsters, but if your opponent's playing, like, a light and dark themed deck, right, like tier elements, all dark, you can summon one of these, and you get the bonus effect of they just summon themselves. And they're quite large. They're like 2,500 attack, 2,500 attack. Yeah, all 2,500. And then each of them has like a bonus effect. So Magnum Hunt's the best one. At the end of the turn, he just adds any dragon from your deck to your hand. I think it has to be like level 6 or something. I don't know. But like, he adds shit.
I think it's any dragon.
Yeah, Druid Swarm like blows up a special summon monster. Sereneer like sends a guy from deck to grave. So